So everybody else can jump back on again.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I think we got on okay here.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to let the crew in here. Here we go.
Very good. Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are going to wait
just 1 second, honey. And
we're going to just wait a couple minutes here to let everybody in who wants to join us today. But we're so glad, and it's fun to see some faces popping up here too. It's so nice to have you guys all join us on this sunny Wednesday. This is our second month in a row with Windows on Waterloo on the first of the month, so it kind of sneaks up on me each time here. I don't know if it's the same for some of our regular viewers as well, but happy March. February is such a weird month where you look at the calendar and it's the 27th, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's a new month already. It's always kind of a weird one, but it seems like spring is on our horizon here, hopefully. So it's so good to have everybody join us here. We will get started with Riverview Center here in a couple of minutes, but before we do that, just kind of my usual spiel for each month about the chat. You are welcome to drop any comments or questions into the chat. We will have a time reserved for Q&A at the end of our presentation here. And so we will just save all of the questions for the end. So even if we have to kind of backtrack to a topic that was discussed pretty early on, we will do that. But feel free to drop those into the chat as we go. And we will ask those all at the end here. But all right, I think we've got a pretty good crew here, and if people keep joining us, we will let them in, but we will go ahead and get started here. An official good morning and welcome. My name is Paige Price, and I am the program manager here at the Waterloo Community Foundation. And that means I also get to be your host each month for our Windows on Waterloo presentations. We love having this platform to invite community members and nonprofits and other partners in to learn more about what's happening around our city, whether that is an event or this month we're talking specifically about the work that a local nonprofit is doing. So we are fortunate to have some representatives here. We have a few, and I'll let them introduce themselves here from Riverview Center, and they offer different resources and services to survivors of sexual violence here in Waterloo. And they were one of our competitive grant recipients last year. And so we had the chance to learn more about the work that they're doing. We did a site visit with them last summer, and we're just really inspired by the great work that they're doing to serve people that are in a really tough place. And their work is definitely needed, and it's really tough. And so we wanted to be able to kind of amplify the work that they're doing and welcome them here today to talk about what they are up to. So with that, I will turn it over to Sam and Rachel and Michelle. Welcome, ladies.
Hi, thank you so much, Paige. Hi, everyone. I'm Sam Blatt. I use she, her pronouns. I am Riverview's newest Director of Development and Public Relations. I'm super excited to be on this team. I joined only in January, so it's about 2 months. I've been in the community since I graduated UNI, and so I really love, as all of us do, we all love building and working in this community and improving it for ourselves and for all of our community members. So I'm really happy to be here. I see a lot of familiar faces, so I'm glad to see that my past work is caught up to my present, and I'm really glad to be here. Like I said, I just started at Riverview, and I think it's one of the better things I've done in a minute. We really do such impactful work, and I love the team that I get to work with. So I'm going to let two of my team members, Rachel and Michelle, introduce themselves and what they do at Riverview, and then we'll get into our presentation on how our services impact this community so greatly.
Awesome. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Miller. I also use she, her pronouns, and I am the volunteer coordinator for our Iowa offices here at Riverview Center. I have a physical office in Waterloo, but I travel to all of our Iowa locations frequently. It's nice to see everyone.
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle. I also use she, her pronouns. I am the bilingual advocate in the Waterloo office, and I've been here for about maybe, I think, a year and a half.
Awesome. Well, I am gonna get tech savvy here, y'all, and share my screen so we can share our presentation with you guys. So, all right. Can I get a thumbs up if we're good? Okay, great. All right, so we're happy to be here at, with the Windows of Waterloo presentation. And we kind of wanted to talk about what, why we are brought on to Windows of Waterloo and like the grant that the Waterloo Community Foundation was able to help assist us with. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. And then we'll go into our history, our services and takeaways, et cetera, and just kind of explain really what Riverview does for those of you who don't know, and a good review for those who might know a little bit. So we're with the Waterloo Crisis Intervention program for vulnerable communities. And so the biggest factors that we wanted to assist and address were replenishing supplies throughout the year, and provide those gap assistance support. A lot of things do fall through the gaps, and we want to make sure that people are covered in any way, shape, or form that they need to be. So we do that in ways of replacement clothing. Survivors who are at the ER sometimes have to leave their clothing behind for an exam kit, and so that way, to leave the hospital with dignity, they're able to, you know, wear fresh, clean clothes that aren't hospital scrubs, and make them feel more, you know, human and safe. We help provide transportation to folks. We also provide safe and temporary housing for those who need it with our limited housing assistance program, which is a great program that we recently started last year as well. We have a 24-hour crisis helpline for immediate access, for crisis stabilization and advocacy supports for survivors who need it. They can call anytime, so that's great. We have, sorry, I think we have to closing twice. Sorry about that. But we also do food and other basic needs that are met. We have it in our office, and we work with other community support systems like the food bank to help with that, to access basic needs that are just, you know, for household items, clothes, transportation, et cetera. So we want to make sure that folks can get that support in that way so they can live that, you know, normal life. Some stats from this is over the past year. So this was going to be, I believe, 2021 to 2022. In the past 12 months, we've served over 265 survivors and their families, which, you know, equivalated to 4,237 hours of services. Everything that we do is also accounted for and tracked. So it's very, very accurate and accountable. So some demographics, just so we can like really dive into how this impacts our community. 65% of the survivors that we work with have mental health disabilities. 18% are unsheltered and unhoused. 17 are children. 17% are children. Those are the folks that we work with. We have folks in the BIPOC and LGBTQ community, the disability community, and other ability sections as well. So we also our age ranges can go from ages 4 all the way into their 80s. So we really provide a broad service. And I want to repeat that again. We have as little little ones as old as 4 all the way up to their 80s. I think that's a very broad span, and how important that it could be anyone. And that's why we're really here to help all the survivors at any point in their healing journey as well. So some more things from this grant. The survivors are able to access the trauma-informed services from assault and abuse, including the human trafficking, which has been discussed a lot more recently in this past year. And sometimes they get to be participating in our transitional housing program if they also if they qualify for that, and be able to start that healing journey after abuse. They'll be able to access all of their options with dignity and confidentiality, which is super important. The staff creates service plans to accommodate each client's needs. It's not just a copy and paste for everybody. It's very specialized. We internally coordinate services with our other advocate groups in the community. So like Friends of the Family, House of Hope, things like, like great other community services, Amani, et cetera, Waypoint. Our staff coordinates with community agency to provide substance abuse counseling, GED testing, additional housing needs, and DV services, which is also really important. In Iowa, at Riverview mainly works with survivors of sexual assault, and in our Illinois office, we focus more on domestic violence and sexual assault, just for that differentiation there. And our staff provides services throughout Waterloo locations, all over Black Hawk County, and specifically also in the heart of Waterloo. So I'm going to go through a little bit of history. Throughout this, we were started in 1992 in Galena, Illinois, in Joe Davies County, and it didn't have an access for agencies. So two community advocates came together to create this, and now, almost 30 years later, we are here, and we are stronger than ever, and continuing to grow and resonate our message and amplify it in our community. This came out of the anti-rape movement in the 70s. So volunteers could ensure that survivors' voices were heard. And so we have grown over 8,000 square miles, and survivors have 24/7 access to our services. So we serve 16 counties total. We serve 14 in Iowa and 2 in Illinois, as you can see on this graph. So, Black Hawk, Bremer, this area, we do a lot of important work. And we wanted to make sure that you can see what our services area is as well. And so just a breakdown of the services, and then I'll let Michelle get into what those all mean. Is we provide medical advocacy, legal advocacy, general advocacy, peer counseling, different types of therapy, preventive education, which I think is a really important one, the 24-hour crisis hotline, of course, and Rachel's great wheel, the volunteer program, which is super important, so we can keep getting our message out and have people continuing to get supported by community members. So just a general overview is we are very trauma informed and survivor centered. That is the mission. It is to help everyone on their journey to healing and recovery from that trauma. And the biggest thing I want people to take away is we have 100% free and confidential services to anyone who identifies as a survivor of sexual assault or domestic violence at any time in their life. So we'll get into this later, but somebody who experienced childhood sexual abuse and wants to use Riverview services at the age of 50 can, so that's very important, that they can get that healing journey no matter at any point in their life, which is, going to be transformational for a lot of folks. So I'm going to let Michelle take it away and tell us, as an advocate, what kind of things she does and what our program is about.
Okay, so as an advocate, one of the resources that we do provide is medical advocacy. So a lot of the times where we do meet a lot of our survivors is in the hospital. When they go in to the ER, they, if they express being sexually assaulted, the nurses automatically call Riverview Center, and they call whoever's on call. And we respond to the hospital to provide that support, to provide the options, and letting them know that they're not alone. This can also be any follow-up appointments. Sometimes if after a hospital call, a few weeks after, if they want to get STI testing, whatever it may be, we respond to any of their appointments that they may want that support. Any legal advocacy. So sometimes it can be a little intimidating to meet with law enforcement. So we're right there with them, providing support, either if they want to make a report, if they want to know of any case updates, any new information, we can, as long as we're getting an okay from them, we can call on their behalf. We're present in court proceedings as well, just kind of helping them throughout that process, making sure that they don't feel alone. Any general advocacy, so any community resources. I know we've been using a lot, the food bank, any other resources that may help with any bills, housing, whatever it is. We also, make sure that they know that we're here for them, but if at any point they, want to receive services from another agency, we'll gladly make that referral for them. Peer counseling. So we do one-on-one counseling, and this is kind of, it's guided by the survivor. If they want to talk about what's been going on, that's perfectly fine. We never make them talk about their story if they don't feel comfortable in that moment to do so. Sometimes we do safety planning. It's sometimes not realistic to just get up and leave from a toxic situation, but sometimes we talk about, where is a safe place in case if something happens, who are the safe people that you can call in case of an emergency, and of course, healthy coping mechanisms. So just helping these people, find healthy ways to cope with the struggles that they are going through at the moment. And obviously, goals, looking to the future, where would they like to be? And it can be, small steps, whatever this person is wanting to, accomplish in that moment, in that week, in that month, in that year, whatever it is. It is very survivor-centered, so whatever they feel comfortable with, we go with the flow and just, try to support them as much as possible. And support groups, we did have a Latinx support group that ended not too long ago. Hopefully we'll, get that up and running, hopefully in the summer again. And I know some of my coworkers are working to hopefully get a support group running here soon. But if that's not something that we are offering at the time, we definitely help, find other resources in the community and get them connected to what they feel like they need for their healing journey. For therapy, we do offer individual and family therapy, play therapy, art therapy, EMDR, whatever it is that this person is needing. I do want to say that survivors do work with an advocate first, on that one-on-one counseling. We do make sure that they are in a good spot before beginning therapy, just because it might be difficult to focus on therapy and focus on truly healing when, you don't have food for that week, or, you don't have those basic needs met. So we do work to get those basic needs met. And there are times where we do make a referral to a therapist, either here on behalf of Riverview Center or a therapist in the community. And they do have the option of either just working with a therapist or also working with an advocate at that moment and with a therapist as well. Community education. So we are in the community quite a bit. We do presentations to pretty much anyone who, we have schools that come up to us a lot that, want us to talk about consent and all that kind of stuff. So we do accommodate our presentations depending on the audience to make it age appropriate. Any trainings as well, prevention education, We also go into businesses, care facilities, hospitals, and we also sometimes, if we're not actually presenting to the workers in these organizations, we also are very on top of things and sharing our brochures, making sure we are making that connection with them. Okay, and this is a quote from one of our volunteers. So she said, Riverview Center provides a very needed and valuable service. Any way that I can be involved in assisting and helping others who have experienced violence in their lives and bringing more compassion and kindness to the world is the greatest gift to the world I feel I can give. And we, appreciate volunteers very, very much. And I know survivors do as well. And I know Rachel will get into kind of what volunteers do here in a bit.
Yeah. And on our next slide that Michelle's going to go over some of our testimonials, some of the clients that she's assisted and worked with. There's 4 stories, but I'm only going to have her read a couple out and maybe let y'all read the rest of them, or pause it when you guys are watching the live stream or recording later.
Okay, so I actually asked Rachel to help me out because I forgot my glasses. So Rachel, do you mind?
Absolutely, it's what we're here for. So I will start at the far left. So this survivor is now in their 50s and experienced childhood sexual trauma and sexual trauma in an institution. While talking to him, he shared that he has never talked to anyone about this type of trauma and that he has bottled it up inside for all of these years. He has coped with drugs and alcohol for years. Today, he is loving the natural high he is getting in life from his personal growth. He said that he no longer has urges to use drugs or drink alcohol. He cried and thanked me profusely for listening to him and said that he feels that he can tell me anything due to the vibe I give him and because we have such a high level of confidentiality. After talking, he said that he feels so much better inside and it feels like the pain is going away. He no longer wants to carry the trauma he has alone and is ready to release everything he has been carrying on in him for his whole life. So these are testimonials that our advocates have put in from the work that they're doing with our local survivors. I'll go to the next one. I have a survivor that has been incarcerated for the past 4 months, and we have consistently been in communication. Today, he shared with me how he has been depressed, feeling down, and having nightmares. We talked about his triggers and processed where they are coming from. He said that every time he is feeling down, he has a letter that I wrote him sitting in his cell that he always looks at, and it reminds him that I am here for him, and it makes him feel better. He also said that when we talk on the phone or video chat at the jail, that he goes back and will be the happiest guy in the pod. So this little 10-year-old survivor and I have been meeting for months now. Her mom lives in a different state and her dad is raising her and her brother to the best of his ability. She talks a lot about missing mom and wishing she was here and talks about the loss of some of her pets that meant a lot too. Today, she has mentioned that she wished that she had a mom. I explained that her mom just lives somewhere else and reminded her that they will still get to talk every day. She said, yeah, but I want a mom that lives with me and takes care of me every day. My heart broke hearing those words. She then asked me, can you be my mom? It melted my heart that she looks at me as a positive role model in her life. We had a big hug before I left and told her when I would be back to see her. And then the last one that we have out of many is this survivor has experienced complex trauma that has impacted her ability to have stable housing, stable employment, and stable support systems. She is in our housing program and is going to a community college for nursing. She reached out to me the other day to let me know that she has been accepted into a university and will be switching to social work after she finishes out at the community college. She also was offered a job at the campus library. All good things happening for the survivor, and I'm so proud of how hard she has worked to get to this point. All right. And next, I am super excited to talk about the volunteer program. In the almost 8 years that I have been with Riverview Center, I have been the coordinator for our volunteer program for a little over 2 now. In the past, I've done advocacy and prevention, but I'm really excited about a volunteer program because there's so many different ways that our community members are getting involved and helping us fight the good fight when it comes to supporting survivors and ending some barriers that are in place for supporting individuals in our communities. So here is a basic overview of the different areas that our volunteers assist with. So we like to say that there's 2 different ways individuals like to provide support. It might be with direct services and helping provide support to survivors in person. It might be over the phone. It might be helping with maybe filing. So our volunteers do a lot with crisis or advocacy response where they can help and be on call on our on-call calendar, where they choose different times of the month that they would like to be on call. We have some individuals. So like Sam mentioned earlier, we also have 2 offices in Illinois, and our volunteer program out of our Illinois offices assists them with working the hotline. So that they can be available for assistance if someone calls late at night and have a safe person to talk to. We also have volunteers who assist with program support. And then we have individuals who assist with our mission-driven opportunities, such as community outreach, as well as development and fundraising. And then having volunteers to assist with prevention education, as well as training opportunities is very beneficial as well. So for those who are assisting with crisis response, they are helping out with our on-call calendar. So for our programs at Riverview Center, we don't require a certain amount of times of like hours of individuals to volunteer each month or each week. The only thing that we ask is that if individuals are assisting with on-call or that hospital response, is that they assist with 2 times a month. They get to pick and choose what dates and times work best for them. The hours are very flexible so that they can truly work it into their schedule. They also have the option of either maybe during the day, like 8 a.m. through 5 p.m., something like that. But we know that that's not feasible for everyone. So we also have evening shifts available. So it can be starting at like maybe 5 p.m. and then go until like 8 a.m. the next day during the week. We also have weekend available shifts as well, so that they can assist to be on call too, and really help support our staff members who are doing this work as well. Because we know that burnout is a huge factor when it comes to victim services. So our volunteers, they are providing crisis counseling when they are in emergency room settings. They provide that emotional support as well as validation so that they know that they are not alone. They do have support. They help with service coordination at the hospital, or if they are in an office setting, supporting individuals. They help educate individuals on what their rights are, make sure they know all their options, and then support them on the options that they are choosing and making sure that their rights are being protected every step of the way. So knowing what the kit looks like, answering questions about cost of the kit, because that's a very real fear that individuals have, like, will I be able to afford this? Which in the state of Iowa, this kit is completely free. So we're very thankful for that because not every state offers free exams for sexual assault survivors. And then volunteers can assist with safety planning as well. Now, along with program support and development, so helping out with some mission-driven opportunities, they can assist with our fundraising. So we have our annual Evening of Light event coming up in April, and our volunteers assist with many different capacities. So it could be reaching out to local businesses to talk about our upcoming event. It could be something as simple as sharing the event out into our communities. It could be helping set up the event, helping with the event itself, helping with tear down. I mean, we have so many different events throughout the year. We also have a Hope and Healing art gallery, golf outings. We have Duck Derby, which is typically in Galena, Illinois, but our Waterloo volunteers actually played a huge part when it came to this event, because they were actually responsible for sorting all of our rubber ducks that we use for this event. And we have 4,000 rubber ducks. So our Waterloo community members sorted 4,000 rubber ducks. And then we went back and we pulled out the ducks that were sold so that they could be racing across that finish line. And then our volunteers in Illinois help out with crisis response and are with the hotline and helping answering those phone calls. But another way that individuals assist with support is with education and helping opening up those conversations in age appropriate ways, and helping advocates or other individuals with customizing these presentations so that it fits who they will be talking to. So we also, with community outreach, excuse me, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So that is a huge month for us. So during that time, our volunteers play a huge part in making sure that our information is out in the community. They also make sure they are also working with faith-based communities. They work with our local libraries to put up a awareness table where we put out services and information about our services. We put out different items about that has Riverview Center information on it. And then we work with that library and we find different books that they have to offer that relate to topics or components about sexual assault. And then we put them out on the table so that individuals can see what those books are, and then they can rent them out. So we make sure that there are books for all ages when we are doing this. Our volunteers also partner with our community partners, such as Waypoint or Amani, Monsoon, our shelters, such as Friends of the Family, and helping with outreach for providing educational presentations. We've had individuals help with donations, such as going and grabbing those donations and bringing them back, or we have many community members who drop off donations that can be used to provide support and to give to survivors if they are in need of maybe like kitchen supplies, or it might be clothing, it might be toys. That we can use for play therapy or to hand out to individuals when they come in. So besides, there's so many different benefits to volunteering and supporting survivors, truly. We can't do this work without all of our amazing volunteers. I mean, with all of the efforts that go into it with our staff members, there's only so much our staff can do, but having volunteers to even do even more too, so that we can provide that support to our community and to the survivors that we're working with is truly amazing. So some benefits to volunteering is making a difference. But besides that, and helping make a difference in someone's healing journey, is having an opportunity to support individuals throughout that crisis and being an individual to assist them during a really hard time. Our volunteers are able to build connections and references. We work with many college students who are able to figure out if this is something that they want to do in their field or help use this for their future. So we have volunteers currently who are going to school to be a doctor, a teacher. They are in different fields, but they want to use the training that we have, which I'll talk about at the end, to help bolster their confidence and to help them in their future careers as well, so that they can be a better physician or a more understanding and compassionate teacher. So all of our volunteers, we strive to give them the experience that they are looking for. So when I'm working with individuals, I'm asking what kind of opportunities they are specifically interested in, and then helping ensure that they are accessing that. So we have individuals who want to help out with on-call medical support. So I help them get signed up after they're finished with training. And they help out with that advocacy, or when they're at the ER, they could be assisting with legal advocacy as well, and being a support if they are sharing their statement to law enforcement then and there. They are able to create their own schedule. So if they want to come into the office and assist with office support or any administrative tasks, they definitely can do that. Our hours are very flexible during the day and what that looks like for them. And also we have remote opportunities that are available too. So if we are having volunteers who driving is not an option for them for any reason, there are different opportunities that they can do from the safety of their own home, wherever they live. So I help work with them to ensure that they are volunteering and helping make a difference no matter where they are. So with that training, for our Iowa volunteers, for anyone who's interested in working directly with survivors, we want to make sure that they are feeling confident and that they have the materials to set them up for success when supporting individuals, because research shows that the first 3 people that an individual discloses to about a traumatic experience can really alter the impact of their healing journey. So we want to make sure that all of our volunteers have this training so that they can provide assistance and support. So it is a 30-hour victim counselor training. All of this is online, and it's a go at your own type of pace. So I help support individuals in getting signed up for any of the training, and then making sure that they have the materials, of which I go over. Some of them are in person, like over Zoom, that we do, and others are going to be in written or video format that I will review with them afterwards to make sure that they have a good understanding of the material. And then we also have different learning opportunities throughout the year for our volunteers to continue with their accreditation as well. And then the 40 hours that are on there, that's for our Illinois volunteers.
Awesome. Yeah, and Rachel did a great job when I joined, like I said, just recently, a couple months ago. She helped assist me with my training, and it is so trauma informed and so specified that I feel like this program really does set volunteers up to be the best for the survivors. So firsthand experience, I really thought it was great. And so I can definitely attest to that. And I'm not just saying it because I work there. And so Michelle, because you forgot your glasses, I'm going to go over the trend slide, but Michelle provided me as an advocate with some of the trends that we're seeing in this area. And right now we're seeing an increased need for food assistance. And so we really partner with the Northeast Iowa Food Bank. Shout out to Barb. We love her over there. So because food security is a key, and like Rachel and Michelle both mentioned earlier, if a survivor can't go through counseling because they have to worry about if they can feed themselves and their family, that is, you know, one of the main priorities that we need to get taken care of before they can receive that counseling. So that way it can be more effective and more stable. So it's also providing that stability. So we're always looking for food assistance and help with that. And we're always trying to work with schools in this area and surrounding districts. So not just Waterloo, but obviously Waterloo, but Cedar Falls as well, you know, all of the surrounding school districts, to provide what Rachel touched on, preventative education at appropriate age levels for everyone, and to build those connections in those schools so that way they know that they can refer to us at any time they need to. And a really big focus Michelle told me about is talking to teens and having healthy relationships. So that's a very important one, especially in today's growing age with the technology and what's going on in our world. It's really important to have that preventive education, and I'm really happy that our advocates can provide that. And another trend is growth, getting more name recognition, so more people who have been impacted can utilize our services. So a trend is just making sure that we get out our information and make sure that it is just, you know, flyered everywhere. Everyone knows about our services and everyone can contact them and use them as they need. So I want to give you a couple takeaways before we wrap up and do Q&A. I wanted to make sure that everyone knew again that Riverview services are 100% free and confidential. And that's why we need so much support, because we can keep the services that way to make them more accessible for survivors that have been impacted. We work with so many different community supports, and we want to thank and continue to work with each other and partner with each other to continue that community support that we've built already and only grow it even further. And again, that we've worked with over 250, I believe it was over 260 survivors and families just in over the last year or so that have been impacted by violence. So, and then another big takeaway, as Rachel said, we are always needing more volunteers and more support so we can continue our mission to help these survivors on their journey to recovering and healing from the trauma that they have been impacted by. So if you have any questions, feel free to, put them in the chat or message us if you want to start volunteering and help support us in that way. We absolutely want it and need it. And so now I will also wrap up with saying, we do have our Evening of Light Gala in April. I know that Rachel talked about it. We can make sure that we send another message out about that later, but it is April 21st at 5 p.m. in Cedar Falls. Our tickets are on sale. So if you go to our website, riverviewcenter.org, you can automatically click that link and get tickets to support this amazing work in one shape or another. If you are unavailable that day, but still want to help support it, some of the tickets can go to survivors that we work with to join this gala as well. So please look into that. And I just want to also make sure that people know just how intersectional this work is. You know, we work so hard and with so many different issues, with so many different kinds of folks, and so many different kinds of situations that all kind of connect, that we just want to make sure that people know how impactful our services can be. And so we want to thank you for your time today and answer any questions that you might have. If I don't know how to answer them, since I've only been here for 2 months, so I'm going to allow Michelle or Rachel to do that. So thanks for your time, and I'm going to exit out of this presentation now.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Erin, would you mind looking at, can we put the link to the tickets for the Evening of Light in there so that people can easily click that? Because you guys have a pretty big name speaker coming for that, right?
Yes, we do. We have 3-time Olympic gold medalist Allie Raisman, and she will be really focusing on the systems that allowed some of this to happen and how we can fight against that. So it'll be a very, very inspirational keynote speaker that we have. I'm very excited. And then in the chat, I did put our URL, so riverviewcenter.org. If you put /events, it'll take it to the page, but it should be right on the main page. If you click on the picture of Allie, you can get to our event page. And if you can't make it to the evening one in Cedar Falls, you can always go to the luncheon of lights at 11 a.m. the same day, April 21st in Cedar Rapids, or on Thursday, April 20th in Dubuque as well. And that one is in the evening at 5 o'clock too. So that's my spiel. We're doing a lot of great work. It's not going to stop, and we just need your support.
Awesome. If people are interested in volunteering, should they go to your website for that too, or what's the best way for people to get in touch about that kind of thing?
Great question. So you can definitely go to our website. We do have a volunteer application that individuals can fill out. And since I'm the coordinator, I will have a notification so I can reach out to those individuals. Or if you prefer to reach out to me directly, you're always welcome to do that as well. So you can email me or you can call me on my direct work number, which since I mentioned I'm frequently traveling, I can enter that into the chat as well. And this will be rolled to my phone. So no matter if I'm in Dubuque one day or Decorah the next, I'll always have access to that. So I'll put that into the chat.
Rachel, I put your email there. So if you want to put your phone, you can do that.
Perfect. Thank you. If anybody has any questions, I see there's a little bit of chatting there, but if anyone has questions, feel free to drop those in now and we will get to those. But something that I wanted to ask about was, something that I really appreciate about your services is how they are so customized to whatever that individual needs. And I think that's so important because everybody has a different experience. Everybody has different situations and needs. And so the way that you individualize that is so amazing. And with your GAP services, I'm just curious, are you noticing that there are certain things that you're having to go into your GAP services more because we can't find those resources in the community? When I worked in human services, there would be certain things that clients would bring up. It's like, oh, that's a hard one to find here. And so I'm just curious, are there things that you're kind of running into regularly of like, oh, it's hard for us to be able to find that kind of resource or that kind of tangible item or anything like that?
I think, yes, we definitely have those needs that fall through the gaps sometimes. I know we've had some people say, you know what, I need assistance with car insurance. So then we're, online looking to see if there's any programs, and thankfully there is one on behalf of Operation Threshold. Or sometimes, they need to renew their license and they don't have those $10, $15, whatever it is the cost to get that renewed. So yeah, we are constantly connecting with other community members. My coworker is the head chair of the Coalition for Victim Services, I think, here in Waterloo. And so she's really good at connecting with other people in the community and have like a group chat where they can, if we need something, assistance with finding a tire, someone who can help put on a tire, we definitely reach out and see if there's anyone else in the community that can help.
I've heard examples of children needing mattresses as well. So that's another service that we can provide in that gap need. If someone, if that falls through as well. So yeah, we're always constantly looking for how we can improve and how we can fulfill these needs that might not have been fulfilled earlier.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I know, Rachel, you mentioned tangible donations as well. Are there certain things that, like for this group, that are there certain things that you need, or what's the best way for people to be able to donate tangible items? Then I'm sure there's ways for us to financially donate as well. So can you kind of give us the overview of the things that you need the most and how we can be most helpful in that way?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say probably any like new clothing is always helpful for our kits that we provide for free to all of our local emergency rooms in our communities that we serve. Otherwise, when it comes to certain needs, we've worked with individuals who have needed like new kitchen utensils, or they've needed blankets to help keep warm, or maybe because they gave up some of their bedding for their kit for the to go be tested for DNA evidence, we would help purchase new bedding. But I mean, each survivor has unique needs that need to be met. So our advocates truly do an amazing job of working in our community and with other individuals to help ensure that if there is any specific needs, that they can help make sure that they are met, so that they can continue along their healing journey. For anyone who is interested in donating, I mean, truly anything brand new or gently used, like toys, or that we can provide to the individuals that we're working with, because we do work with children and teens of all ages, either in school settings or in our office or anywhere that they feel comfortable and safe in the community. You can drop them off anytime, or you can reach out to us directly if you wanted to meet with someone to drop it off as well.
Awesome, thank you. I think Sam, you briefly mentioned human trafficking earlier in the presentation, and I think that's one of those topics that feels really big, and like we've all heard of it, but don't necessarily know what that looks like, and especially even just here in our own community, what that looks like. Or I know I've heard different things before about there are certain communities where it's a bigger risk because of the way highways intersect or any of those kinds of things. So would one of you be able to talk help contextualize human trafficking for us here in Waterloo too, of what does that look like, and especially here in our community?
Yeah, I can give you a basic definition, then I'll probably let our advocate, Michelle, just dive in a little deeper, just because I don't want to give any misinformation, as I am also still completely I'm learning this, I've known about it, but I'm still diving deeper into the details myself so I can be better and more trauma informed as well. So just a basic definition is coercing or the unlawful act of coercing, transporting, or selling people in order to benefit from that work or service. So it's usually forced labor and forced sexual exploitation. And that can look like somebody going to school all day and not having any problems, and then coming home at night, and a family member having their friends come over and do inappropriate things, right? And so that's that can be one form. There's it could be from home, it can be across town at a hotel, it could be a different nearby town, and people and the survivors can still look like they're living a normal life and be affected by that. So it's really key to kind of know some of those signs to tell about human trafficking. So I might let Michelle or Rachel touch on that a little bit more, but that's kind of my brief overview.
It is a very I guess complex situation. I mean, I think we've definitely come across it a lot in our community, and it sometimes does look like what you would see in movies, and sometimes it's just something else, like how Sam said, someone from their own family is trafficking them with other family members or other people out in the community. So it's definitely something we are seeing a lot more each day, for sure. I don't know if that answers your question, but it is something that is, we have been working a lot more with Chains Interrupted, which is an agency who is working, to spread awareness about sex trafficking and all that kind of stuff, and how to stay safe. And so we do have them a lot in our work. I've had them present, in one of my support groups. So it is something that I think we are seeing a lot more every day, and trying to spread awareness of it, because I think a lot of people probably, at least here in Waterloo, I feel like I didn't really know it was, a thing that actually happened here. In my mind, it was something, that maybe happened like in Chicago or in Los Angeles, somewhere big. kind of like in movies, but it is something real. It is something that is in our community, unfortunately.
Yeah, thank you for providing some more insights and information about that. I know it's a heavy question and a tough, and like you said, it's complex, and so it's hard to kind of wrap up with a answer with a perfect bow on the top. So I appreciate you guys just kind of shedding a little bit more light on that. And just thank you for the work that you're doing too. Like I said, I really appreciate how individualized your support is, and that you're willing to kind of jump into I know those situations are messy, and that you're willing to provide that holistic support for people as well. So you're helping meet those tangible needs. And you said it multiple times too, how if that's lacking, you can't focus on that healing. And but then you're also providing that emotional support as well. And so thank you so much for what you're doing for our community. We're so, I mean, it's unfortunate that we need to have your services here in Waterloo, of course, and we hope that someday that won't be, you won't have job security is our hope for someday, right? It's one of those things where you want to kind of work yourself out of the job, but we appreciate what you're offering for our community and for our citizens here. And thank you so much for joining us today too. I know you're busy, and you maybe are even on call right now. And so we appreciate you taking the time to share your experience and your expertise, and a little bit more about your services with us too. And thank you to everybody that joined us to view this presentation today too. We're always so happy to have engaged community members that are learning more about the issues that our community is facing, but also the great opportunities and the great services that we have available here. We will be emailing out the recording of this, so if you would like to view part of it again or the whole thing, or share it with others, we definitely invite you to do that. It's also available on our Facebook page for the Waterloo Community Foundation, so you can view it there as well. And we offer this program every month on the first Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. I almost said 1 p.m. 11 a.m. So our next one will be on Wednesday, April 5th. And we are going to have, it'll be kind of a joint presentation from Dementia Friendly Cedar Valley and then Northeast Iowa Area Agency on Aging. I'll have to practice that one a few more times before April, but they'll be sharing about the services that they offer for individuals who are aging and those facing dementia in our community, and kind of the work that they're doing to help our community be a safer and more informed and respectful place. So I hope you all can join us on April 5th, and thank you all so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Paige.
Yes.